Welcome everyone to Advanced Placement Calculus BC. I am Kris Blachinski, and this is how our class looks today. Yeah, still a little strange and surreal, and yet the new normal. A little bit about myself, and I introduced myself to my students on the first day of school in this way as well, so that they could get to know me outside of this 1 inch by 2 inch rectangle at the corner of their viewing screen. I'm starting what I think is my 30th year of teaching at LT, having arrived here long ago, right out of an undergraduate experience at Notre Dame. And my passion outside of teaching calculus, a little bit of antiquing, a little bit of fitness, college football, flower gardening, but getting back to my true passion, teaching calculus. I've taught calculus at LT for over 25 years now, both calculus A, B, and BC. And I love it. I love the curriculum. I love the rigor. I love the challenge. I love the interdependency of the skills and the concepts that we gain throughout the year. The fact that what we learn today, we're going to need in October, we're going to need in January, and we'll demonstrate our knowledge of in May. It's all a storytelling journey from start to finish. And at the end of the year, I think the students also gain a true appreciation for their accomplishment and the meaning of that journey. It's really something special, and I'm no less excited about that journey this year than I have been in any other year. So a little bit about this course. It is equivalent to 2 semesters worth of college level calculus, and students will gain an understanding of differential and integral calculus, and then a little bit different from AB, they also take a look at infinite sequences and series, some polar functions, some vectors, and some other really exciting things. The course is rather packed, and students at the end of the year should take that advanced placement exam, or at least they will have, I should say, the ability to really succeed on that exam. Last spring, in spite of the 4th quarter quarantine, my students did exceptionally well on that advanced placement exam. And if students choose to take it this year, given their direct engagement throughout the year, even remotely, I would anticipate equally their success this year as well. Every day of the year, how do we learn and demonstrate this rich understanding that we're going to be gaining along this journey using these 4 mathematical practices? Students come to me, usually at this level, loving the process of mathematics. They're very good at going from step A to step G and solving a problem skillfully. This year, we really focus on that skill set and in connecting the following representations: a graphical representation of the solution, a numerical, given a set of data, how can you tackle the problem that way? From an algebraic perspective, given an equation, can you work toward the solution? And then at the end of it all, can you provide a verbal explanation of your solution that is in the context of the problem? So the process is equally matched by their justification. And in the process of justifying their work, and just this week we learned our first formal definition of calculus, and we're going to be coming across other formal definitions and theorems. It will become so important for them to justify how they get to that solution using proper communication, attention to detail, major attention to detail, and proper notation. So it's really the crafting of the argument, the crafting of the solution that is just as important as the solution itself. And that's what we work on every day of the journey. And speaking of the journey, first day of school, in addition to introducing myself, I also told the students, okay, what's the game plan? How are we going to maintain the integrity of this really awesome class with the challenges that we face? And I told them, okay, I've been thinking long and hard about this, and here's what we're going to be doing in class. We're going to be reviewing. We're going to be practicing. I'm going to be entertaining questions of them, of course. And we're going to be introducing the lesson in small groups, although we don't call them small groups anymore. We call them breakout rooms, wherein I'm able to join smaller groups within the class, groups of 3 or 4 students, and communicate with them individually as they work through those review and practice questions. Of course, there will also be some sort of a lesson that I've pre-recorded in the form of a video that I've given, or perhaps a live presentation of the lesson. Outside of class, I will also be expecting them to watch certain video lessons. And this came from direct feedback from my students last spring, where they told me how much they appreciated being able to rewind, fast forward, and really view those lessons in a one-on-one manner, where they had much more control over the delivery and the speed, and like I said, the review. They really appreciate that. Whereas now, even in class, when I'm presenting a video lesson, I have students requesting to, during the class time, view that lesson at their own speed and then come right back and join us, which I'm open to. Outside of class, again, watching the lessons, the daily homework, which is so incredibly important. And of course, I'm available for extra help. I tell my students all the time, I'm an email away, and we can engage in a private Zoom session wherein you can ask your questions. And then of course, the game plan has a plan, and the plan is to tweak the plan when it becomes necessary. And I'm already daily asking my students for feedback about what's working and what needs improvement and how to manage the strategy for being successful, for victory. And they are providing that feedback in a really valuable way. So far so good. I've been very pleased with what we've been able to do. And I'm really grateful, so grateful for your children, for their and our students' direct engagement. It's just been really, really good so far. So along the way, there of course are resources, all of which can be found for students in Canvas. They will find their Zoom class invites, they will find an overview of the unit, and most importantly, in the modules section of Canvas, they will find a Unit 1 calendar, which gives them very specific instructions about where they should be every day of the week. Even though we meet 3 days, every day of the week, I give them suggestion, this is where you should be today. There are video lessons posted. There are blank, clean class notes, copies, and homework, which is all worksheet based, right on Canvas for them to print out and use, as well as completed answer keys to all class notes and homework. It's all there, and they also know to go to Canvas to submit their homework for grading, which is something that we'll talk about. Speaking of grading, along the semester this year, the grading practices are as follows. There are formative assessments intended for students to do a self-check. What do I know? Oh my goodness. What is it that I don't know that I need to know? In the form of daily homework, the in-class practice, and unit quizzes. It's the daily homework that is so important to the game plan. I am treating the daily homework like I would if students were in class. They are doing the homework, they are checking the answer keys online, they are correcting their homework with a red pen, and then they are submitting a copy of it to me through Canvas, and I'm grading it. And I spot check 2 problems, 2 really just basic significant problems on each homework assignment. Each problem is worth 2 points, 1 for completion, 1 for accuracy, because I expect them to correct it. And then the 5th point is for the overall completion of the homework. So in Infinite Campus, that's why you're seeing the out of 5 points, out of 5 points, because it's almost daily, almost, that I am supplying those grades to their homework. And in the process of grading their homework, I'm giving them written feedback on every assignment that I collect. I'm writing comments to them. I'm answering their questions, which they're getting really good at writing on their homework. I need help with this. How do I do this? So that daily homework is key. It's key to the plan. The summative assessments in the form of the unit tests are given every 3 to 4 weeks. And then at the end of the semester, you can count on perhaps a semester exam that is weighted a traditional 20% of that final grade. Again, first day of school. What's the plan? Who am I? And how are you going to succeed in this class? And of course, I've presented these three strategies. 1, students have got to stay actively engaged by doing the math. You cannot learn calculus by watching a video. You have to put the pencil to the paper and you've got to do the math. And I showed them, first day of school, a former student's homework submission from last spring. This was a student who did her homework in pencil, went online, looked at the answer key, and corrected that work in ink, wrote some notes to herself, and then submitted it for for me to take a look at. This is how you actively engage in the calculus. And along the way, of course, you've got to embrace the struggle. Whether it's a technological struggle or a mathematical struggle, there are going to be daily challenges. And as I tell myself every morning, embrace that struggle with patience and grace. With patience and grace. Walk away if you need to, come back, re-engage, but we're going to have to embrace that challenge along the way. And along the way, to help one embrace that challenge, find your village. It's a common theme of mine in the class. It takes a village to succeed in this class. And on the first day of school, I asked my students, who is your village? Who is your support system? A colleague, a classmate, a sibling, a parent. I am a forced member of your village. Find that system of support to help you embrace the struggle and do the math. And you'll be on your way to success. You will be on your way. If you have any questions or concerns, please don't hesitate to email me. I'm an email away, as I tell my students, and I am welcoming suggestions, particularly from my students as we progress throughout this year. So I'm an email away. I thank you for joining me today to learn a little bit more about BC Calculus and about the way we're going to do things, at least Plan A. And I wish us all well on this journey this year. Thank you again.